Welcome to Arsenal Kids Podcast.
Hello and welcome to Arsenal Kids Podcast. My name is Madi and I'm joined by my co-host Ben. It's great to have you join us for this episode.
Yes, hello listeners, hello Maddie. Welcome to episode 173. It is great to have you join us. And Maddie, we've had ups and downs, and to be honest though, this week feels a little bit weird.
With so much football happening, being played recently, it is weird to be only reported on a single game.
It does, and that is the women's team who were in FA Cup action on the weekend, and so we'll cover that game in part one, and with the men's team on a mid-season warm weather break in Dubai at the moment. We thought we would do a player profile, and while he started out promisingly for the Arsenal, having spent a season on loan away from the club and now likely to depart for other pastures at the end of this season, we're going to take a closer look at Kieran Tierney,
who at one point looked like he might be the next Arsenal captain.
And that is how football can change very quickly. But before we get there, we would love for you to share our podcast with others. No matter where you listen, you should find a share button, and it would be great for you to be able to hit that and help us to grow our Arsenal Kids community.
And we would love for you to join us on this adventure together.
We would indeed. And Maddie, we've got a big shout out today to Willow, who has sent in an email to us.
And she writes, "Hi Maddie and Ben, my name is Willow and I'm 6. I met you in Melbourne at the Arsenal women's game last year. I really like listening to your podcast. Love Willow. And go Arsenal."
Awesome. We love you too, Willow, and it is great that you're listening to us, and it was great to meet you in Melbourne last year.
It sure was. And thanks, Willow, for sending us an email. We appreciate your support.
We really do. Okay, well, let's now turn our attention to Meadow Park, where the Arsenal women's team that we watched with Willow last year strolled out onto the pitch, having made 6 changes from the team that started the midweek game against Man City, with an Arsenal debut for Jenna Niswanger.
And this FA Cup 5th round clash was against the London City Lionesses.
And it was a team that boasted one of our own, Taya Goldie, who is on loan with the Lionesses for the whole of this season, and was probably one of their best, if not the best, London City performer on the night. But what was interesting is that Jenna Niswanger did not line up at left back as we might have anticipated, and instead she was deployed as a deep-lying midfielder, a role that she played earlier in her career, as it was only recently at Gotham FC that she transitioned into the left back position.
And the team started the game brightly, but it took us until just after the half hour to get a goal and out the score sheet.
Yes, following a number of promising balls, deliveries and shots, it took until the 32nd minute as Aussie Kyra Cooney-Cross sent the ball over towards the far post, where Leah Cadena was in the right place to nod it back across the goal, with the ball looping into the corner of the net, making the scoreline
1-0 to Arsenal!
We then got lucky, as London City should have been equalising, but their shot was hooked wide, and at half-time, with 45 minutes under her belt on her debut, Niswanger was withdrawn for Leah Volti, and a couple of saves from Frida Mornham and Cooney-Cross by the London City keeper kept them in with a chance, until Stina Blackstenius took 8 minutes on the pitch before she scored her 50th Arsenal goal.
And Stina won the ball high up the pitch.
She did. It was in the 82nd minute, and this then allowed Mornham to get a shot away. The keeper could only do enough to parry it, but it fell back into Blackstenius's path, and she tapped the ball across the line to double the lead on this occasion. There was then just enough time for Amanda Illerstedt to get about half a minute of play. Look, it may have been a bit longer, but it wasn't much, as the Arsenal saw out the rest of the game, winning it comfortably in the end, 2-0.
It wasn't the greatest of the performances but it was enough to get the job done in this game.
Yes, Maddie, I think the rotations and tactical setup from Renee Slagers did not gel together maybe as well as she would have liked, but it is a win, and that means that the team are now into the quarterfinals of the Women's FA Cup.
And who are we going to be playing, Ben?
Well, Maddie, the reward for winning our clash is now a game against Liverpool, and that's planned to be held at home on Sunday, the 9th of March.
And next up for the team, Ben?
Well, Maddie, next up is a big North London derby for the Women Gunners against Tottenham, and that's going to be at the Emirates Stadium this weekend, where the club have already sold over 50,000 tickets for the game. Come on, you Gunners.
Okay, well, let's leave that for part 1. We'll be right back after this with part number 2. Welcome back, and Ben, our men's team player profile.
Yes, Maddie, on Kieran Tierney, like we said, one of the many left backs currently on the books for the men's team, and he is quite probably going to move on at the end of this season. And Kieran was born on the 5th of June, 1997.
Making him 27 years of age.
He does, and Kieran was born on the Isle of Man before he moved to Scotland, just before his first birthday, and he supported Celtic as a child before signing for the club at the age of 7, and he was educated at St Brendan's RC Primary, Our Ladies High, and then St Ninian's High School, which has a development partnership with the Celtic Academy.
Kieran's progressed through the youth ranks and earned a reputation as a dependable wide player.
And he was good in both defence and attack, which earned him a place travelling with the first team Celtic squad to Finland for a pre-season game in August of 2014, where he made his debut in a friendly against our North London rivals. Tierney described his first appearance for the first team as a dream come true. It then took, though, until the 22nd of April 2015 for him to make his competitive debut for the club, as he came on in the last 9 minutes of a Scottish Premiership match against Dundee United before his breakout in the following 2015-16 season.
In the season, he made over 30 appearances and became his regular first team left back.
And for his performances, he was awarded both the Players and Writers Young Player Annual Awards as Celtic went on to win the title. Unfortunately, he suffered his first serious injury after appearing in the UEFA Champions League with an ankle ligament damage suffered during training. But as a Celtic supporter, it was pretty cool to still see him attending matches in the company of his childhood friends. The following season saw him named captain for the first time in a Scottish League Cup game, in which he assisted and also scored a wonderful 40-yard strike. And then he went on to win the treble with Celtic, which is the League Cup and the Cup, which he and Celtic also did the following season.
Midway into the 2018 to 2019 seasons, he got injured.
Yes, this time it was a hip injury followed by a hernia which required surgery, and then
Arsenal came knocking.
They did. On the 8th of August 2019, Tierney signed for Arsenal for a fee of £25 million. He missed the early part of that season due to his hernia operation, but he made his first team debut for the Gunners in the EFL Cup on the 24th of September 2019. Unfortunately, though, a dislocated shoulder meant that his season was further disrupted due to injury.
But the following season saw him score his first goal and start in Arsenal's FA Cup final victory over Chelsea.
It sure did, and he also started the 2020 FA Community Shield win over Liverpool and enjoyed a great season before signing a long-term contract with the Gunners in June of 2021. In the 21-22 season, Tierney was a regular starter until he suffered a season-ending knee injury. Then, following the signing of Alexander Zinchenko, Tierney found his minutes greatly reduced for the Arsenal first team, which led to everyone thinking that he would leave the club.
He did, but he it was a loan and not permanent.
Yes, Maddie, he spent the season on loan to Real Sociedad, but like much of his time at Arsenal, injuries prevented him from regular game time, and the lack of consistency due to fitness meant that the manager began to rely on other players instead. A great player in his prime, being able to bomb up and down the left, a great one-on-one defender, and versatile enough to also play on the left side of a back three. Tierney, a player many thought might be a future Arsenal captain, has really not reached the heights that he, the club, or the supporters hoped, and with his contract expiring at the end of the season, it's been reported that he'll probably be returning back to his childhood club, Celtic.
Has he played international football,
Yes,
Ben?
Maddie, he has been a regular when he's been available for Scotland, where he would most often play as a central defender. And in total, he's made 47 appearances for the Scottish national team, scoring a single goal against Poland in 2022.
And his total Arsenal stats, Ben?
Well, Maddie, he's had 6 seasons with the Gunners. He did spend 1, though, on loan, so 5 with Arsenal. During that time, he was only able to achieve 129 starts in all competitions, but he has scored 5 goals along the way.
And next up for the men's team, Ben?
Well, Maddie, no midweek game as the men's team wrap up their training in a sunny Dubai before they're going to head back to London to face Leicester City away from home in the Premier League this weekend. And just like the Women's Super League game, we're going to be covering it right here early next week on Arsenal Kids Podcast.
Okay, well, let's wrap it up for this episode. Thanks again for joining us on Arsenal Kids Podcast.
Before we sign off, we want to express our gratitude for your continued support. If you haven't already, please follow, like, and subscribe like Willow so you don't miss us in the future. Remember, your love for the beautiful game is what fuels our passion.
And we would love for you to join us on this venture together.
Yes, please share our podcast with any other Arsenal kids you know and help us to grow this amazing community together.
We hope to join you back in the pitch again soon.
Keep the spirit of the game alive, and until next time.
Goodbye.